Diesel drip. How to set up a diesel drip on your sawmill. Um, this is an LT35 hydraulic from wood-mizer, but setting up the diesel drip will be pretty much generic for any sawmill, I think. You'll just have to rework it for your sawmill. Any specifics that I get in this video can be changed to whatever your sawmill takes or whatever need. I can't just say that get this hose and it works for every sawmill. That's not how this is going to work. But this is how it works for my sawmill. This is how I set it up. It's not necessarily a how-to video, but it's a how I did it video. And it works for me, except for one minor issue I still haven't got worked out. So we'll go into what I did first of all on setting this up. This is your water jug, whatever kind of water jug you have, and I filled it with diesel. I filled it with diesel a long time ago. This is probably cut 40 or 50 logs with that much diesel. So 2 gallons of diesel is cut 40 or 50 logs. It's very sparingly that you put this on. Wood-mizer has a little plastic knob that comes out here and a little plastic control knob on the top of it. I had that on first, and since then I've switched to this little garden hose knob. It works. You buy the garden hose knob and it screws right into the plastic piece on the tank of my wood-mizer. It may not on yours, it did on mine. Before I get too far into it, I'd recommend just getting another one of these jugs. Not necessarily from wood-mizer, from somewhere. Getting another one of these jugs, because your jug's going to be stained. If you ever want to switch back, it's going to have a wood-mizer, or it's going to have a diesel fuel stain in it. This diesel fuel is the farm diesel, because I deduct all my fuel from the farm. And so you have to run farm diesel in your tractors, and I don't have to pay the road tax on it. But it's the same diesel. It doesn't matter if you go to the gas station and get the yellow diesel from the gas station. That all that is yellow dye versus red dye in your diesel. Yellow dye knows you paid the road tax on it. Red diesel, you didn't pay the road tax on it. So you can't put this diesel in your truck and drive it on the road. It's for farm non-tax diesel. And it doesn't matter whether it's any kind of diesel you use, it's diesel fuel. It is, I buy it winterized. I buy it all year round winterized, because I don't use 250 gallons a year or 250 gallons a season. So I need the all year winterized. And they have additives you can add in it for winterized, but this diesel is not going to freeze. Your road diesel isn't going to freeze. It's probably winterized right at the pumps. If it's not, there's little additives you can buy. AMSOIL sells one. A lot of other places sell a little winterize your diesel. It just stops it from gelling up. So you take this garden hose, simple garden hose attachment, put your tape, your thread tape on there, or whatever kind of pipe threading you want to stop this from leaking from. And you'll need the pipe threading on the garden hose attachment too. So in this little garden hose fitting, they sell at your local hardware store. And I bought this pipe at the hardware store, and I bought this. There's 2 little fittings right in here. This one goes to the garden hose attachment, and then it is tapered down to this size hose. I just went to the hardware store and bought this size hose. I needed, I think, 3 or 4 feet. I bought 5 so that I'd have extra. You buy your little metal banding clips, your little hose clamps. I bought the metal ones so that I could screw them down, tighten them. This did leak. I had to put the pipe thread on this one too, and I had to put the pipe thread on this too, and then tighten the clamp down over the pipe thread. This is not the original wood-mizer hose. This is my hose. So it goes right there. And then you turn this on and diesel goes through this hose, gravity fed, flows through the hose behind the engine, comes out here. The only original hose that I have left is the one that actually goes over the drip, the water system for the wood-mizer. And this is the only original hose I have left. It's that long, you know, whatever, 6 inches long. This, and I bought this hose too. It's different than this one, but I needed this hose so that it would go down to this size. There's a little attachment in there that goes from this size hose to that size hose, and it's a screw-on attachment, so you're supposed to screw it onto something else, but I just put a hose clamp on it, a little pipe thread, clamped it down. I don't have a hose clamp here yet. I need one there because it keeps coming off, but this is just comes out of your drip valve. The drip valve is an Amazon search. They didn't have it at my local hardware store. Amazon search for a needle valve, slow drip with the sight window. So just do a search on Amazon, needle valve, slow drip, sight window, and you should find them on Amazon. There for a while. I know that they were out of them and nobody had them, but I think they're back on there now. It's not expensive. And there's a hose clamp coming down from this hose to the needle valve, and then there should be a hose clamp on here going down to this one. This hose from wood-mizer, the original hose in the water drip system, won't fit over the needle valve threads, so I had to get this other section of hose, and it's whatever, 3 or 4 inches long. You're going to have to decide that for yourself. You're going to have to decide how long this is and how long this is. But I've got this hose. I've got plenty of extra of this hose because it used to run all the way up through here originally and behind the engine and to the water clamp. But when you run this hose back to the water clamp, or this hose even, it kinks. I had it in some of my other videos. The hose, when it comes out of here, running around there, when it comes out of here, it wants to kink. So you've got to get enough of this extra hose to where it doesn't kink through there. The first hose I had on there kinked, and I didn't like that at all. It would still work, but I just don't like that much pressure on the tank. And that's a simple way to set up your diesel. You got to buy this hose, you got to buy the hose fitting, you got to buy I recommend the water hose spigot. And you got to buy this hose, and you got to buy a little piece of this hose, and then your needle drip, or your needle valve. And that's the simple setup for diesel drip. The only thing I've got to figure out is I've got to figure out this. I made another video about this too. So this hose pulls out of here, and when you put this all the way out, this hose pulls out. Oh, it's already pulled off there. See, that's what I've got to figure out too. All right, so this is what I got to figure out. This hose is all the way out, or this the throat of your sawmill is all the way open to the max. Now, the part I have to figure out that's still giving me a pain in the ass, and the reason why I haven't shown everybody how I do this yet, is because I haven't figured out this part. Now, I close up this to to saw a smaller log. And now it doesn't want to gravity flow out of there. It wants to, watch, I'll open this up a little bit maybe. And see there, it's coming down, but it just wants to set right there because it's gravity. And so it's got to build up here before it flows into my diesel drip, and I don't like that. Or before it flows onto my blade, and I don't like that. So here's your diesel drip. Just barely dripping out of there. You can see that, I hope. Nope, you can't. There, now you can see. Just barely dripping out of there. So, when you're cutting a log, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1. You know, there's a 3-second. One drip every 3 seconds. That's a normal log, and you're done. You got it. One drip every 3 seconds. You'll never smell it in your lumber. You may smell it in your sawdust a little bit. Most of it's carried away with your sawdust. You may get a drip on the side of your log that you can smell, but if you do even get a drip on your lumber that you can smell, it's going to evaporate in before it's dry anyway. I wouldn't say, you know, go ahead and put that board right up in the middle of your house as your coffee table, but you can't take it from the mill and put it in your house anyway for a coffee table. You've got a lot of work in between there. You got to kiln dry it and everything else. Diesel, guaranteed it's gone by then. Most of the time it's gone. I can't smell it on the log, on the board when it's coming off there at that slow of a drip. And it's slowed down now because I don't have the valve open. But normally it'll keep the 1 or 2 second, whatever you set it on. All right, I'm gonna open up this valve now so I can it gets air, so it can get air. See, it's sucking air. Sucking air so that it'll come down here. Now this will drip at a consistent rate. Now, you have your pine log. It's really, really sappy. You're getting a lot of sap buildup on your blade. You can run this at a drip 1,000, 1,000, 1. You know, you can run it at 1 drip per second for a really sappy pine log, and that will definitely keep this blade clear of any pine tar, any pine sap, any buildup on your blade. At 1 second it'll be gone. There'll be absolutely no buildup on your blade. But for most logs, like I said, it's a 1 drip every 3 seconds. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1, you know, open it up a little bit more. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, there you go. Now the only other thing that this valve does is this little nut in here comes loose every once in a while, and then you can't control your drip valve, so you've got to tighten that nut up every once in a while, every month, every week. Just make sure that this little nut's tight all the time, and that will keep this tight and hard to screw. But I mean, you can drip it out of there. It'll run solid out of there. There, it's running solid. You don't need that much. No way. You don't need that much even. You never need that much even. Or I never have. That's about as fast as I run it. That's for a really sappy pine log. Normally, it's way, way less than that. But you see the diesel drip, it builds up in here if I can't get up gravity flowing out of there. So I have to lift this back up manually every time and put it up there. And I really need a spring or something that will pull that hose back up to keep it tight when it's here, but let it go loose when it's out here. I hope that helps. Everybody with their diesel drip, it's simple to set up. Sight valve, a couple lengths of hoses, 4 foot, 3 foot of this. I bought 5, so I'd have extra. This you'll have plenty of because this is the original one from Wood-mizer. And a few hose clamps. And the garden hose attachment to get down to whatever size hose you want to run in there. And that's it. Simple. The only other thing, you know, I end my video and say it's simple. The only other thing, I forget to shut this diesel drip off all the time. I'll go take logs away, I'll go take lumber away, I'll go get another log, I'll leave this diesel drip running. And it drips right down here on the ground. You can see where it's been dripping. There's another drip. So I just put a handful, a shovelful of sawdust right down here. And then when I'm done, I just carry that sawdust away, put it on my compost pile. Any diesel drip's going to evaporate out of that after that sawdust compost for 7 years and turns into dirt. That diesel will be gone. You can put it right on your garden. Or you can just take this shovelful and burn it. Put it. That's what I do a lot of times, is just put it right in the fire and burn that little sawdust that's in this area right here. Put a scoop full and then just burn it.